icon, Boy George, has sold over 150 million records worldwide, yet he's way more than this big song. Now this multiple Grammy and Brit winner who gave us the huge hits Do You Really Want to Hurt Me, Karma Chameleon, I'll Tumble For You, and many more, is preparing to release his first new music in 18 years. And for the first time ever, this will be a record that Boy George is releasing on his own label, Very Me Records. Look for the new record. It's very humble, Very Me Records. Look for the new record titled This Is What I Do online and in record stores across the globe beginning tomorrow. Boy George, welcome to 95.7 KJR in Seattle. Hi, Boy George.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. And how are you today?
I'm very good, very good.
I read that this will be the first record of yours that you own. Like you make it and you own it, and describe how unusual that is for an artist.
Well, I've always, up until 95, I was with Virgin Records, and I haven't had a deal since 95. I've been involved in dance music as a DJ, so I haven't really had anything to do with the kind of music industry as such. So when I came to make this record, I did contemplate, going out there with my begging bowl and seeing if I could get a record deal, but, I just I knew that I wasn't going to make a kind of, a sort of modern pop record. I didn't really want to do a record that sounded like what you hear on the radio.
So you don't want to compete with Miley Cyrus and any of that ilk in terms of go for the pop charts where the young stars are?
Well, I think there's a lot of pressure doing that, and I think if I was around now as a young artist, I would find it quite difficult because it feels like everybody sort of making the same record at the moment.
Right. Isn't it the same guy that's writing all the songs?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's almost like we've gone back to the 50s, where you had these sort of writing teams. I think
and they would write for Elvis back then.
Yeah, you know, and it's, so I don't know where I'd start because I come from an era where, we wrote our own songs, we dressed ourselves. It was kind of a bit more of an individual thing. I mean, listen, there's still great music being made now. It's there's always great music being made, but I think to be put in that arena now would be kind of scary. So I'm kind of glad that I don't even have to think about that,
Boy George, you've sold over 150 million records. It's unfathomable to me that you would say, well, I don't know if I could get a record deal. I mean, with your track record, literally, I would imagine that you could have. So here you are. What will make this record a success? Do you have sales figures in mind, or is it just because you're an artist?
I absolutely have no expectations. It's been so long since I made a record that, the fact that we put the record out in October in the UK last year, I got a string of really good reviews, which is a career first for me. I've never
How about that? Yeah.
And you say I've sold 150 million records, but I've never really remember reading anything complimentary about what I did musically. So the big change this time is that I got great write-ups and, and it's been a while since I've been out there, so I'm not really, at the moment it just feels very exciting. I'm touring and I'm constantly working and I'm doing the thing I love, so, I have no expectations apart from that,
Now, I'm a old classic rock guy, so when I read that you're a hugely respected house DJ, I kind of know what a DJ is because I went to iHeartRadio and I saw some of the popular DJs on stage and performing and spinning and doing all of that. But I feel like I still kind of don't really know what it is. So you DJ in clubs all over the world.
I do.
And is there music being played live? Are you singing? What exactly is it?
Well, I do sometimes sing during my DJ sets, but it really depends on what mood I'm in. I don't ever say I will do it. I just do it if I feel like it. But I play. I think the music you're talking about is more like the kind of pop dance, which I don't play.
You don't do that. Okay.
I play a much darker kind of moodier sort of sound, more sort of tech house.
Well, if I were Boy George, I would play all Boy George all the time.
No, I wouldn't do that.
You would fill the house up.
Well,
I do have a monthly podcast which is free on iTunes, Club Culture.
Oh, cool.
You can actually hear what I do for free.
I'm going to listen to you today. I'm starting to listen to more weird podcasts just so I can know what they're doing.
Not calling you weird.
I'm not calling you weird. No, well, weird to me. I mean, we don't hang a lot.
No, I'm weird. That's
all right.
I'm weird and I'm random.
Now, your music has been called blue-eyed soul, and you have an influence of rhythm and blues. And a critic once said there'd be no Lady Gaga without Boy George. I want to ask you, there would be no Boy George without who?
David Bowie. David Bowie, Mark Bolan, all the things that I kind of grew up loving as a kid, really. But I think the big one for me as a kid was Bowie. That was the first love as a kind of rock star. And I saw my first Bowie concert when I was 11 years old. Mm. So, it was life-changing stuff. So, but, there's so many things. Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell, Leonard Cohen, Gladys Knight. I'm a huge Gladys Knight fan. George Clinton, it's endless. Sly Stone, but a lot of 70s, a lot of 60s and 70s, obviously John Lennon, all of that sort of stuff,
Wow. That's a wide variety. Now, the music industry has changed. Some would say died in recent years. Yet, for people coming up now, young musicians, global distribution is a click away. What would you say to young musicians today who have a dream and want to pursue it?
Well, I think it's very different now because it feels like, everybody kind of these days wants to kind of be famous and they're not quite sure why. It feels like a lot of people want the kind of lifestyle that comes with being famous.
It comes with selling 150 million records, right?
Yeah, but they also want the house and the car and the fur coat and, it's all like, I think a lot of these kind of reality shows have really, they've made it look a lot simpler than it is. Hmm. And I think to kind of do something that's going to stand the test of time, it's not easy. And you can't you can't plan that.
So will younger artists have to discover the hard work part of it because all they're seeing is how easy it is to click and put something on YouTube?
Well, I don't know if they will, but I mean, you can't, I just mentioned Amy Winehouse. You couldn't plan that. No. That's just something that's really, special. And I think there are these things that come along that are still special. Right. But there are less kind of doors for those things to come through now because it feels like everything's quite formatted and everyone's sort of making the same record and, it's like nobody really wants to change the world anymore.
But isn't that a great opportunity for somebody?
It is, but, I don't know. I don't think of being a musician as a kind of career opportunity.
I see. In other words, the artist has got to be born. Yeah.
And it's like pop star wanted,
Right.
It's depressing.
All right. Now, you mentioned the glamorous life that people want. You have that, right? Please tell me you don't drive a Camry and live in a little double wide. I mean, you must have outrageous cool art and fantastic cars and multiple homes, right?
I don't have any cars because I don't drive, but I have.
Oh, well, even better, yeah.
I don't have a car. I have a lovely home, and. I'm not sure if I've got kind of anything, overly ridiculously expensive, but I've got things, I surround myself with things that I like. I've got a lot of religious kind of art in my home because I love religious art. But I'm not a big kind of, I don't waste money on things that I don't need to.
Are you religious? Do you believe in spirituality and hereafter and all that?
I'm a Buddhist, so I believe in sort of Buddhist philosophy. That I don't believe in kind of coincidences. I think everything kind of happens for a reason, and I think that through certain kind of practices you can kind of make a difference to how your life is. And that's certainly been my experience since I went back to Buddhism. Last couple of years really, I've been practicing again, and it's made a big difference to the way that I feel a lot.
The stuff you made in the 80s, George, as you said, will stand the test of time. It's still being played on the radio every day. I was surprised to see how young you were when Culture Club was out. You were still a young man now. I mean, you've got a lot of time left to make music.
Got a little tread left on those tires, is what Joe is saying.
Well, I'm 52 now.
Right.
So I'm not that young.
Well, so are we, so be careful.
That seems young to me because I was listening to your music when I was a kid, which means you were also a kid. I always thought of you as a little older. I was
about 19 when 19, 20, 21 was when we had the first big hit. So I was pretty young, yeah. I mean, I wasn't much older than Justin Bieber, actually.
Do you think you'll ever be too old to be boy? I mean, when you're 70, are you still going to be boy, George?
Yeah.
I've been asked that question quite a lot recently. Well, you know, it's just a name. It's a stage name. I mean, I don't delude myself that I'm 16. I know I'm 52, but it's kind of my name, you know, that people recognize. So I wouldn't change it. I could become like the artist formerly known as Boy, or
Yeah.
or something.
A symbol for an old man, like a street crossing sign. Boy George, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for spending the time with us. Our time is out, but we're going to hang up, and we're going to play a couple of tracks, just hot cut them from the new album, This Is What I Do. Give us the top two you would like us to hot cut a little and talk about on the radio.
I'd probably go for My God and It's Easy. It's easy when you're the one who stops loving first. It's a lovely country song.
All right. Hope to see you if you're ever in Seattle. Boy George.